him one day. I don't believe that. Y'all look like y'all want to see him one day. My God, my God. I know y'all new protocols since COVID, so I just brought my phone up. I ain't bring no notes, no nothing, so y'all, I'm gonna be real quick today. Is that all right? And you may be seated. I know y'all, how y'all stand for the word and everything. Y'all may be seated. I'm not gonna be before you long, but I am gonna give you what thus said the Lord on today.
Amen. All right.
And if I would take a subject, it would be, I'm still here.
All right. Amen. Go ahead. Help yourself. Thank you, Jesus.
I'm still here.
Yeah, here.
And I was coming from the scripture of Acts 16, where Paul and Silas were walking around on their way to prayer. They wasn't bothering anybody. They weren't trying to pull people and convert them. They were on their way to communicate with God.
Come on now. Come on. Go ahead.
Let me start and give honor to the house. I give honor to all that is here, to this man of God, your shepherd, that's still here. Okay. Y'all will get that when you get home. I give honor to his lovely wife, who is glad that he's still here. I give honor to my leaders, Superintendent Charles Jones and First Lady Jennifer Jones, and to my husband in his absence, and to my children and to my family that is here, and to all that's in the house. I truly thank God for being here on today. I thank God for still being here. And so back to the word. Paul and Silas was on their way to prayer, and they were minding their own business, and a young lady came up with the spirit of divination, with the spirit that looked like, act like the Spirit of God.
All right.
But because she did not have the Spirit in him, she just had the look and the act. And so she knew exactly where the power was, because she began to follow them and say, they're here to, they're men of God, and they're here to get us all saved.
All right.
And so she's following them. It looked like she was giving them credit.
My.
It looked like she was pushing them and priming them and telling them how good they were. That's what it looked like. That's what it portrayed, right? I know some of you have been around people who followed you and told you how good you were, and you know, when they was with their friends, they talked good about you and all those kinds of things. It looked like they was good people in your life.
Come on now.
Maybe that wasn't you, but I talk about Hosanna, and then I heard by him, but they was following them and pushing them, but what they really was doing was drawing attention to somebody that was minding their business. And so at some point Paul got tired, and he began to rebuke the devil out of this young lady. Now he used the power that was on the inside of him. It brought even more attention to him, even though he was minding his own business. And so because that young lady wasn't just, you know, a good person, she also was good money to the people that owned her, because she was a slave. And so she would prophesy lies to them, or she would tell them things that was good. So she made money for them, and so they got angry because Paul rebuked out of her what really belonged to them, because they had the same spirit. But he rebuked out of them that what made them money. They said money is the root to what? All evil. But anyway, so they got mad at Paul and Silas. They didn't know nothing about them. They didn't know who they were. They just knew that they rebuked out of them. And so they used some power that they weren't used to having. People would get mad at you when they don't have the same type of power you got. But it's not your fault, because you have a relationship with the one that gives the power, but they got a problem with the fact of who you are. But anyway, so they got upset, and they went and told the magistrates. They pulled them and drugged them, and they beat Paul and Silas for something that they had nothing. They was just doing what God told them to do. Maybe you've never been in a situation where you were beaten and talked about and lied on and mistreated just because you was doing what God told you to do. But I've been in a situation where all I had to do was speak what God told me to speak, and here I am losing people. Here I am going through the problems and the trials and tribulations because I'm just doing what God told me to do. What is the problem with me doing what God told me to do? And so here they are now in jail. Here they are beaten. Now the law is to only, the law was in this as I was reading because they considered them Jewish. The law was only to beat them 40 stripes. You can't go over 40 stripes, but they told them to rend their clothes and just beat them. They didn't even, don't even count, just beat them. That's how angry they were at the fact that you done took our money. You got power that we don't have. Just beat them. And so we don't care how long they survive, just beat them. You know, maybe you ain't been there. I've been there. I've been told that my anointing was weird. I've been told that you'll never be until I say. I've been told, I've been beaten just because of what God put on the inside. I didn't ask for it. He asked. You can ask my family. I didn't ask for it. I like cutting up. I like going out and doing certain things and lying and cussing and cheating. I didn't get delivered out of something I didn't like doing. I just want you to know I enjoy being with my boyfriend and doing things I had no business doing. Some of y'all say, you know, I thank God he saved me because, you know, I had a hard time. I didn't have a hard time. I enjoyed getting high. I enjoyed smoking and drinking. I enjoyed doing the things. But when he called me out, it wasn't something I asked for, but since I accepted it, I have to walk it out. And so Paul and Silas accepted the call, and so here they are in jail. And at midnight, at the darkest hour of the day,
Go ahead, help yourself.
I had a cousin, they called him Midnight because he was black as midnight. They say when it's that black, you know, you can't see your hands before your face. And it's so dark that, you know.
Watch your head, go ahead.
You're right. It's so dark that, you know, they say after a certain time ain't nothing open. Okay. Anyway, so it's so dark that
Go ahead.
at midnight they could have been sleeping. At midnight they could have been crying their eyes out. At midnight they could have been saying, Lord, why me? You called me to this. You know how we do. You called me to this. Why I gotta go through this? Why I gotta be? Not only did they just chain them up, they bound their feet and they put them in the inner parts of the jail. Now let me tell you something about that. The inner parts of the jail, and when they bound their feet and hands, they do that to the worst criminals. And all they did was pray. But they got put down and beat down like they was the worst of the worst. And so they're in this jail, and then they begin to, because of who they are. Sometimes you just got to know who you are. And you got to walk it out as who you are. No matter what's coming your way, no matter what you feel, no matter what you see, no matter what they say, no matter what you say, you got to know who you are. And so in the midst of it, Paul said, I can use my, as they say, my sanctified imagination. I can probably hear Paul and Silas in there going, man, you know we serve a God that, that can do anything, right? You know we done seen some stuff. You know we done been through some stuff. And so this is probably nothing to God. I'm sure this is nothing to God. I'm sure if we just do what we normally do, things will turn around for us. I know it's hard right now. I know you probably in your body hurting because they done beat us and they didn't clean our wounds. They pour salt in your wound. I've been there. Where they cut you and then pour salt in it. You know, salt will burn. But But what they don't realize, what meant to hurt you will also help you, because talk will also my God, this talk will also purify. That's why the Bible says you're the salt of the earth, and if you lost your savor, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good. But anyway, let me get back to the word. I got a few more minutes. Paul and Silas begin to talk about it, and so that I know how, if you've ever been around somebody, you get to talking about how good God is, and the next thing you know, you get to praising him because you got thinking back, but before you even got into this trial, what he did for you on yesterday, before you even got into this trial, you remember when you was down and out and he brought you out, and so you begin to talk about how good God is, and before you know it, you don't even feel, oh my God, before you know it, you don't even feel what you're going through anymore, and so they begin to talk about Paul. My God, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be real good. So they begin to talk and pray and sing praises unto God.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And the more they begin to sing praises, the more they begin to worship. The more they begin to praise, the more they begin to worship, the more they begin to praise, the more they begin to worship, the more they begin to praise, and the more they begin to worship, before you know it, they didn't even realize they was in jail anymore. All they knew was the presence of God showed up, and the Bible said, what 2 or 3 are touching and agreeing, that he may be also, and so he showed up. So God showed up in the jail. God showed up where there was no light. God showed up in the midst of their trial and tribulation. And all of a sudden, there was an earthquake. All of a sudden, there was a shaking in the jail cell. There was a shaking in the jail. And when the shaking began to happen, their bands began to come loose. Their feet began to release. And then all of a sudden, not only was they loose, but because of their praise and worship and prayer, other people in the jail that was guilty, they were loose too. Oh my God. Your praise and your worship, your prayer life is not just about you. There's people who need to know that God can. And the only way they'll know that He can is through you. And in the very point of where their bands were loose, oh my God, it woke up the jailer. See, the problem is, the jailer is not supposed to be so sleepy that he missed what's going on in the jail. But the jailer was sleeping, and the shaking woke the jailer, and he ran to where he was supposed to be on guard. And when he got there, he saw that the doors were open, and he knew that he was in trouble now. So he pulled out his sword to kill himself, because he said they gonna do worse to me out there, because I'm supposed to be watching these people. And so Paul said, I know it looks bad, but don't hurt yourself, because we are still, he said, don't hurt yourself, because we are still here. So you gotta tell your situation, don't worry about it, because I'm still here. My praise and my prayer got me in a position where I'm still here. I know you tried to kill me. I know you tried to scandalize my name. Oh my God. I know you put dirt on my name. I know you went to the boss and lied on me, and they put me on restriction. I know. Because this is the thing, I want you to understand that no matter what people say, it just matters if you're in alignment with God. And if you're in alignment with God, it does not matter what you're going through. You're going to yet be here until you fulfill of the jailer, the one who locked them up, discovered the power that really was in them and the integrity. Because Paul and Silas really could have just gotten up and left. But the integrity in them, they stayed right there because they knew the law. They knew that if they left, the jailer would have lost his life. And so that's what I want you to understand. If you walk away from the plow, just know that somebody is watching you. And if they're watching you, that somebody can lose their life. Because you might can come back to God, but they might not know how to get back. And they may have to die, and their blood is going to be required in your hands. Integrity in this thing is important. Anyway, after Paul and Silas told the jailer they were still there, the jailer, my God, today, the jailer asked them, what must I do to be saved? What must I do to get what you got? There going to be people because of your integrity, because you still stood in the faith. They going to ask you, what must I do to get what you got? What must I do to live like you live? And Paul said, right there, repent, be delivered, and be set free. The jailer got up, and not only did he get delivered, his family got delivered. You are the lineage. You are the one that your family is looking at. And so, not only are you can be delivered, your family can too. But this is what blessed me. After his family was delivered, the next day the magistrates came looking for Paul, and they said, free them. But they were already sitting in the upper part now, enjoying a good meal. And they came in and said, free them. So the jailer, even though he was already delivered and set free and knew what was going on, walked in there and told Paul. He said, they're waiting. They want you to come on and be free. Paul said, what? See, when you got power, you can talk to the devil. The problem is you trying to talk to the devil with no power. But when you got power, you can talk to them. And he told them, he said, well, tell them just how they embarrassed us out on the streets. Don't come to me private.
Don't do it.
Bring me back before the people and tell them just how you cut up. See, that's why I say about these church apologists. Y'all want to bring a gift secretly and say I'm sorry, or you want to get up and say if I've done anything. No, just like you cut up, give me my apology. Like you cut up. I had a real problem with that. I had somebody want to cut up with me on Facebook, and I don't do Facebook beef, I'm too old for that. But don't secretly inbox me your apology. No, just like you did that post on Facebook, do another post on Facebook and tell them that you was wrong, that you was let down, and that you was wrong. Because after that, you're trying to scandalize my name and then pipe up and then probably apologize. The devil is a lie. You better get this right the right way. And so here we are. They got and another thing that Paul told him, you didn't even know who I was. Paul said, we all Roman citizens. So you don't call me Jewish. You don't call me out my name. And I got the same things that you got in you. I'm a Roman citizen. And now you done broke all the laws of Roman citizens because you thinking I'm Jewish.